If you're a contractor wanting to make more profit in your construction business, then this video is for you. Give me just the next couple of minutes and I'm going to break down 5 different things of what your profit is not, and then explain to you what your profit actually is so you can make more of it. Hey, I'm Liz Chisholm and I help contractors just like yourself grow their business, and not just revenue, but also profits, and get out of the day-to-day operations. Let's start out with the first one. Your profit is not what you hope to make. It is not what you think that you should be making on your jobs, because hope is not a strategy. Your profit is also not the markup that you put on your jobs. If you charge a certain amount for labor and have a certain amount for materials, and then you mark that up, that markup is not your profit. Next, your profit is not what's left over after you finish the job. Now, this is not quite the same as markup, because sometimes your labor goes a little bit differently than you maybe estimated, or maybe your materials cost a little bit more. And so there's all these hidden costs that go along with the job. And if you're not planning for them, then what you have left over could be very different from your markup, but it is also not your profit. Now, most contractors get stumped at this one because they think that whatever they have left over after a job is profit. Now, that's called gross profit, not net profit. And so we're going to get into that in just a minute to understand the difference. But I want to get to number 4, which is the fact that your net profit is not the money sitting in your bank account at the end of the month. It's not what's left over at the end of the month. When you look at your bank account and you see how much money is there, that's not your profit. Now, there's one more that may surprise you, and that is your profit is not your paycheck. Most contractors take all their expenses and they see what's left over, and then they pay themselves. And then they wonder why they have no money in the business. They wonder why they have cash flow problems. And they wonder why, when they look at their bank account, they don't see any money there. And they have a really hard time giving themselves a raise, or they pay themselves inconsistently because they're just really crossing their fingers and hoping that there's money left over after the job finishes and they can get a paycheck. So after all of this, if we know that's not our profit, well, what is our profit? So the easiest way that I like to describe your budgeting for your construction business is with 4 fingers. If you look at my 4 fingers, this is how you budget your business. The first 2 combined are going to be your labor and your materials. Now, that could be a little bit heavy on the labor, a little bit lighter on the materials, or vice versa, but that's going to take 50% of what you're going to charge a client. Now, I even like to bump that up to about 55% because I like to add a 5% buffer for when, oops, something happens. Now, the other part of that paycheck that you're going to get from the client is going to go for overhead. This amount, about 25, maybe 30% max, is going to go for overhead. And then this is profit. Now, from this, we also still need to pay taxes and depreciation and amortization, and this is what you need an accountant for. I'm not an accountant, but this is what you need an accountant for, to figure out all of those numbers on a tax basis to make the government happy. But for the most part, we're going to use this, which is the cost to actually do the job, the labor and the materials. This is going to be where our paycheck comes from, where our overhead comes from, where our cell phones come from, where our computers come from, our subscriptions, our salaries. All of that is going to come from this amount. And then this is what we keep left over. And this, now, not all of it's going to be left in your bank account, because there's going to be some investments and there's different types of cash. But for the most part, that is your profit. So if you are not estimating your jobs correctly, and you are just crossing your fingers and hoping you have profit at the end of the day, or you're falling into one of these traps that you're thinking that you have profit and you really don't, then you need to really take a deep dive into your numbers and understand your numbers. If this video was helpful for you, just click the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.